Hi YouTube. How are you doing? I'm doing okay. Um, I'm gonna get a couple things out of the way that people have issues with me or I with them, whatever. um, First off, to the person that keeps writing me now, well, twice, and then erasing it, what a chicken shit. Why don't you just write on my page? You got something to say to me, making it so I can't respond because your channel's so hidden with the name Speak Up or Shut Up. Like the name for real. How ironic is it that you speak up and won't shut up? I mean, I thoroughly agree with what you just wrote to me, aside from the fact that how dare you question my better judgment for myself from God within my heart on who I talk to. First off, I don't go over to my enemies' channels and write shit. Do you got that? Good. I'm glad you understand now that we cleared that up. And 007, um, I frankly can't remember. I remember erasing your comments. I either didn't like them or I felt like it, you know? So, um, you people, and I presume you're men, the man with the speak up or shut up. Um, I just see it highly chicken shit. You have no face, you have no name, and you presume to want to tell me what to do on my channel. If I feel guided for somebody to talk to somebody I deem as my enemy, then I must have a reason for doing that. And if you deem me as your enemy, well, you're going about it the right way. Because all my enemies are chicken shits. It's only, I really truly believe that God's kids are brave. We'll show you our face. And I'm not afraid to go into no jail or be put into bondage. We've been in bondage all our lives. It's like Lionel was saying today. Who out there did something like 35 years ago that you wouldn't do today, like when he was 25? He's like, did anybody commit a felony, you know? Yeah. He said, if you didn't, you're no friend of mine. Well, you know, the point being that actually nobody is perfect. And it's really hard to tell who is or is not an enemy, although some are just blatant and come right out and act as such. And hiding behind a avatar with no name and talking to me using my name, speaking to me, and your logo is speak up or shut up. Oh my God. See my point? Okay, now that them are out of the way, I just got some bread through baking frozen bread dough, and it smells so good in here. It's gonna be great. So, yeah, I had a pretty good day. It was warmer. It actually got up to about 23 degrees. So, so much for some people's polar vortex bullshit. Um, yeah, so much for that. We call them Canadian clippers in this state because they swoop down and clip us with their cold. Yes, from the pole, obviously. You know, it's nothing new. So, yeah. Oh, I don't know. I watched a lot of news things today. Oh, for instance, Many Fish had a good point that the Super Bowl is going to be played on the 33rd day of the year. That's interesting, isn't it? And then I saw Richie from Boston copy the logo of the two games that are, two teams that are playing, put together, make 9/11, I do believe, or something like that. And borrowed that from Many Fish because one of his subscribers had sent that in. So, yeah, I'm sorry about that. I really did mean to unplug it. Sorry. My apologies. Yeah. Um, so yeah, he had a really good show. And I didn't watch Richie from Boston. Maybe he gave the Many Fish dude credit for that. Not sure, but I like the way Many Fish rolls. He's just led to certain Bible verses, and he knows them. He speaks well on them. Um, let's see what else. Oh, I like the way he sees numbers, like certain numbers and things, or yeah, like we each have our own gifts in different ways. So, and then I might have been talking to my enemies just to torture them. I'm pretty good at that. Oh, yes, I am. Oh, yeah, like I said, we all have our gifts. Oh, so there's your answers. And I usually don't answer to anybody, but I just thought I'd answer you because I felt like it. But I don't answer to nobody except for Christ at this point in time. Yeah. And God tells me what to do to help him in a lot of respects. So, um, that's what I do. Joanne, cool that you had bunnies too. I ended up with 50 of them, and I first only had a girl named Hada. That means rabbit in Swedish because the guy who raised me was Swedish and Finnish. So I had Hada, and then I got Toby Bleach, and Snowball was huge, huge um, Flemish. And my first ones were satin. So then the satin and the Flemish bred, and I had a bunch of beautiful babies. Ended up with 50 rabbits. Um, and I've had a few that walk on leash, and one that used the litter box with my cat. And they would play, the cat and the rabbit. So I taught the rabbit how to be aggressive and look in his mirror in his cage when he was little, and he'd see the cat sneaking up and he'd flip around quicker than the cat. And then when they were playing, they'd run through the house until it was time for the bunny to go to bed. But they'd run through the house and the bunny would like hit the door on one of my rooms and fly over the cat, and because he kind of hit it sideways and fly over the cat and turn around and bare his teeth, and that cat, it just blew his mind. He was a lynx point Himalayan. So it was pretty funny. So yeah, yeah, funny bunny games. Huh? Yeah, and then when I'd put him to bed, I'd let him run for a while, and he'd use the litter box. He quit doing that when his kitty died, so then he was more confined. He had a porch, and his house was quite big, so um, yeah, he was a house bunny. So, yeah. He's the one the vets told me, well, told Doug take him home, that he had a bad urinary tract infection and to just let him die. And I'm like, what? Or they said something wrong with his urinary tract. Well, I presumed it was infection, so um, I cared for him, got some penicillin, and was up night and day for 10 days straight, taking care of that bunny, force feeding him medicine and food. And he lived another 6 years after that. So, and he was about, oh, I'm going to say 5 when that happened. So, pretty long life for a bunny, you know. Probably would have been longer if he hadn't have never got sick though. And the people I got him from, bought him from, um, they were going to kill him for food. And he was the cutest little thing. He was part dwarf bunny and part satin. And when I got him, he was literally this big, and I would put him in my hand and say, "Lazy boy bunny," and I'd tip him backwards like that. And he'd laugh because I was holding him like that, so nothing got hurt. And he learned to trust me. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. So, and I actually fed him with the eyedropper of water a little bit when I first got him to get him used to water. That's a good way to acclimate them to it. And then they kind of have more respect for you as a companion. So that's a good way to do a house bunny. And then in the summertime, if you got indoor bunnies, I would freeze little bottles of, like, take one of Doug's Powerade bottles and freeze it of water. And then when it was hot outside, I'd put it by the bunny and he would lay next to it and it would cool his body temperature, because that's something that bunnies have problems, is regulating their body temperature. So, yeah. Yeah. Like on a spring day that's warmer, they may not come out, they'll stay with their babies. But when it's sprinkling out, they'll come out and play in the rain. And I think they're washing and they eat and then they go back in with their babies. But it's really odd behavior. But yeah, they bathe and they eat and they go back in. But like the day before, it will be sunnier and warmer and there won't be a bunny in the yard. So maybe that's too to keep them away from predators, because when it's raining too, there are less like cats and whatnot out. So squirrels like the rain too. They run around in the rain. So we've got gray ones and red ones. And I've only had the red ones in my yard for about 10 years now, which is really cool. So, yeah, I was hoping to get some of them and they just showed up. So, they're a little smaller and they're really funny to watch. I have some right out in my window. Well, the gray one I see outside my window, traveling through all the trees, but the little ones, they don't come out as much in the winter as the gray ones do. They're a little big. Well, they're about, gray ones are about twice as big as some little red ones here. So, yeah. But they're all cute. And then I got pictures of me like calling chickmunks up to me. I was on my porch and my stepdaughter took a picture of Chipper and Peanut coming up and eating out of my hand. And I've got my regular hummingbird, that's my friend, that comes to, used to scare me. It doesn't scare me anymore. I'm kind of used to it. But when he used to fly behind my head, I thought it was a bumblebee, and I'd go to swat at it, and it'd sort of laugh and take off. And then I saw the oddest thing this summer. I saw a hummingbird sitting on the barbed wire fence. I could hardly believe my eyes. I don't think I've ever seen a hummingbird sit on a fence in my life. So that was very strange. Maybe it couldn't fly away. Maybe it was getting old. I don't know. But it was just really weird. You know, maybe that was that one just saying goodbye. I don't know. But let's see what else is going on. Oh, yeah, yeah. It really irks me. Senator Elizabeth Warren is running for president, and she lied about being Native American and got a job in the White House as like a what do they call them, an intern. She not only owes the taxpayers money for all the time she's been in service and started her career with a lie, but should be in jail. And that's a fact. It's a little more serious than even stealing a car. That's a one time thing and it's over, or even if you did it, several, but you didn't do it every day for decades and lie to the American public and have them pay your salary and then want to be president. Well, she said she was sorry to the Cherokee Nation. Sorry? Sorry for taking all our money all these years on a lie? Because the job was only open to a person of color. So, and back then I could have done that. Effing bitch. So, yeah, I'm mad about that. She won't be president anyway, but yeah, she won't make it. But the word really needs to get out about her. People with channels that are listening to me, Senator Elizabeth Warren, look up Pocahontas. What else do they? Liawatha, they call her. Um, you know. So yeah, that's disturbing because honestly, oh, and that's what my point was going to be. The children of God, when we get in trouble, we get in trouble and we pay for it. They don't pay for it. That's why we will not be imprisoned or anything happening to us because that already happened to Christ. That is not going to happen to us. No, that has already been paid. So don't let them lie to you. There's nothing they can do to you. Yeah, that's the way that works. I'm not concerned in the least. So the only thing they can do to me is kill me. And I want to die because my energy will be out of this container and I'll annihilate their asses. So either way, I win. So I'm not worried about nothing like that. God's got me covered. It's called Christ and faith and never denying Him. Never. Not ever. So, anyway. Oh, also, yeah, speak up or shut up. Come over and write and leave your comments here and let's have a discussion. Who do you deem my enemy and other people's enemy, which I'm probably sure you're right, but tell me who you're speaking about, and I'll probably be able to articulate the fact to you of why I did discuss anything with anybody. And that includes you at this moment because I don't know you from Adam, but I do know Satan and Adam. So, and cannot be deceived. I can be played with like this. This is the closest you're going to get to deceiving me. That's it right there. And I expect that. But I expect more out of myself. And if I had something to say to you, I'd show my face and I'd say it to you. And preferably in person. That's the way I am. If I have an issue with somebody, I would rather talk to you in person than through this. I'm very passionate on either way that goes. So, cheers. Oh, I like monographs. Cheers, he'll go. Here's to me, and here's to you, and here's to old, and here's to new. So if you have something to drink, do my cheers with me. I used to say, here's to me, and here's to you, or here's to me, and here's to you, and if we ever disagree, bleep you, and here's to me. Or wait, now, let's see now. Here's to you, and here's to me, and if we ever disagree, bleep you, and here's to me. Yeah, that's how that goes. And that is more me. Yeah, that about says it all. Click. No, I'm just kidding. I hate when people do that. They'll get all worked up. I control myself a lot better now when I say something like that instead of just clicking it off. I have self control. Unless I actually would want to, then I wouldn't just act on my emotions. I would it would be a controlled shut off. uh, um, can't speak or won't shut up. Yes, won't shut up and can't speak. How about see no evil and hear no evil and speak no evil? That's the little Satanist thing. So yeah, I didn't hear nothing. I didn't see that guy do that shit. I'm not saying nothing. Yeah. That's what all that means. People in their words, you know. There's some things that were said to me that people are baiting me into shit, and I'm not saying a thing about it, and you can just sit and stew and enjoy what you think you're trying to direct me into because I am so stubborn and smart. You cannot guide me like that. So, but not even a nice try. Lame attempt. You know what? There was a really romantic song we were going to have our local radio station play on my wedding day. And I got married in my yard by these trees I call my Trinity trees. Um, in case I perform a ceremony there. a wedding ceremony. I have cards printed up. I might put out someday and perform weddings. So, but anyway, would never do a funeral. But anyway, they didn't have the one we wanted, so we went with Ray Charles, I Got a Woman. Mean as she can be. I swear sometimes she's almost mean as me. That was that's one of Doug's favorite songs. No, I'm not as mean as him. He's cruel. I'm meaner than him. And he's more cruel than I am. But I'm really mean. If being of God and walking that way on a daily basis and expecting that out of everybody else is considered mean, I'm the meanest thing you'll ever run across when it comes to that. Oh, it was really cool. That high frequency tribe, he took his little boy all to skating. It was called jump dump track, and it was so cool. The kid's like 3.5, and he reminded me of when my son John had a little BMX, and I took him to the park, and he was riding it around, and everybody was laughing so hard because he was this little kid on this little green BMX doing jumps, and they had white wheels. It was a really good looking bike, and this all you'd see is a flash of red hair going by, and this kid's just booking and jumping stuff, and it was pretty radical, and people were cracking up, and it was funny shit. What a clown. But yeah, this all reminds me of John. Except um at the same age, John was using the pedals and all's not pedaling yet, but he gets it going with his leg like a skateboarder because his dad surfs and skateboards, and all's got a skateboard too. So he gets his bike going with the one leg, and he was doing these jumps like this here, these hills. He'd get the momentum and get going and go right in them like a trooper, and it was the funniest shit. And it reminded me of John. It's like that's very funny. Yeah, that was cool. And then I had a 6 year old and 3 year old out with my tools in the yard changing wheels on their bikes. So I'm like, okay, that's quite a bit like my attitude. I would take things apart. And my oldest one, he was into little electric motors. He had a box full of motors and batteries and wires, and he'd get things going, so when he was quite young. So, yeah. Anyway, one of my favorite things when I was a kid was playing with the chemistry set. To me, that was playing, and my friends weren't really into that type of thing. So, but then I kind of liked playing. I had a tetherball, um, because I could get like quite violent with that thing, and if I didn't like them, I would want to play tetherball. So yeah. Anyway, just saying. Or one of my sports, it's like, yeah, let's just do this then. You know, if you can't do the mental stuff, let's go get physical. you know, that's the way I would look at it. Couldn't help it. That's the way I am. Very active in every extreme. Oh, that brings thoughts to mind. They have this new commercial that just totally, entirely drives me crazy. And first I saw the woman and then I seen the guy. But there was this woman, she was overweight, borderline obese. And she's got like this low cut crap with everything hanging out all over the place and complaining, doing this stupid exercise out of line, and oh, no matter what I do or what I eat or feed my daughter and I can't lose this extra weight. And I'm thinking, well, why don't you get God in your heart and put some damn clothes on and maybe your body will follow suit, because that is how it works. You are so strong with Christ inside yourself and doing things the right way and thinking clean like that. So yeah, that commercial bothers me. And I just saw it today, and then about, oh, maybe an hour later or something, I saw a guy with the same type of medicine they're trying to sell people. I'm like, oh my God. First, they make them sick with their fat food, and then they try to give them a pill to get rid of it. It's like, just get off your dead ass, you know, and do something. So it's hard for Doug to sit around, even though he is of that bloodline, because I'm very active around him and I drive him crazy. So. Yeah, I'm thinking about snowboarding. There's enough snow now, but there hasn't been, and there was ice underneath it, but I think our cold snap, I think they melded together. I'll have to check it out. But yeah, there's not really enough to go down the big hill, but I might be able to get some action on my little hill or even down the driveway or something. I might see. But yeah, because I got a pair of hiking boots, just insulated, just especially for that board. So, because my big boots, Sorels, I don't want to. They're awkward if you got to jump off, if you're like in emergency or something, want to take your foot out. I go goofy footed, like one back and one sideways, instead of all just sideways, which is okay too. But the goofy foot, you got more control on your board. So, yeah. Maybe I'll pull my board out and show you tomorrow. And then once I got it out, it's just right over there. But I got a box and some of my kids' stuffed animals over in the corner. So it's like, well, another time. But I do have to get it out because I dropped the only guitar pick I have in the bottom of that box. And it's full of some mementos from my childhood too. So once I go digging in that, I might just throw it all away. I'm getting sick of it. It's so very old, like pieces of paper and crap, So it's like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I'll show you something that I did when I was about 12. I used to do copper old jewelry. I do beadwork and jewelry, and this is one I made when I was 12, pounded copper. You can see the little flag, and it's a flagship. And the frame I made, I didn't have an X-Acto knife. I do now, and I have a good frame, a picture frame, and put it in. But the ship itself turned out really nice. So that's all pounded with my tools. Tools that I have are for like leather work or soft metals, and I had like old gold leaf. I'd buy booklets of gold leaf and um, make jewelry. I made earrings, beaded and um, gold plated, and all different kinds of stuff in my life, in my room, most of my life. alone, talking to God and doing art and reading and being active. And um, I love watercolor, like tempera paints. That's kind of my um, choice of, oh, charcoal though. I love charcoal painting, even though or sketching, even though I could be like a cartoonist. You know how they sit and they'll draw somebody's picture, but I'm actually more realistic than even cartoonish. And even with like the animals I draw, I kind of capture their faces and whatnot. So, but I think I'm gonna let you go, and oh, God bless your day or night wherever you're at, and peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Thank you for joining me, and just talk to me. Don't hide behind your avatars. Come on, people.